Welcome, Warriors. Welcome back to the channel. Of course, this is our weekly discipline check in. I am about to jump on a plane to Sacramento. I'm speaking at a martial arts conference, at the ProMac conference, with my mentor, sensei, Hanshi Dave Kovar. So I will be getting on a plane soon. So I have to keep this one a little bit short, but I did want to make sure we check in and keep each other going and strong for 2026. As you know, we are here. I am here to retain my seed for the entire year of 2026. And it's been, I gotta be honest, it's been a battle these last couple of days. For me, I've been retaining since December 14th, 2025. I don't even count the days anymore. Just focus on the date of when I decided to do this. And I don't know. I don't know what it's. Is it things that are coming into my mind? I've been watching some Netflix stuff at night with my wife, and sometimes there's explicit things on there, and I find that it starts to kind of get my mind going, control my mind in like different areas, and maybe make me think more lustful thoughts than I would like. So, I didn't mean to. Every time I see it, I almost cringe, when I'm like watching uh, something inappropriate on TV now almost. And I feel very awkward. Of course, you feel very awkward sitting next to your wife at the same time, but it's like, man, she's like, does this have to be all in there? Do we need all this? There's nothing left for the imagination anymore. And, but hey, every day that we resist that temptation is another battle won. And I feel, even though I've had those kind of like weird urges that I don't really have normally, probably because of material that I've seen, and it's not even that explicit, right? But just like 'cause I try to protect my mind from that. It's very important. One thing you might not know about me, I am a complete wuss when it comes to dealing with horror movies, and I don't like it. I think that stuff pollutes your mind, right? It gets me scared. Like when I turn the lights out at night, I think, is there something going to come over and eat me? Something going to attack me? And so it's important for me to protect my mind from that type of stimulus, of that type of material. And when I see some of that stuff on TV or, whatever I'm watching, it obviously like kind of captivates your mind for a moment. It's really strange. That's why they use a lot of the advertising tactics that they do, right? Men's minds are very geared toward a certain drive. And if you start to hijack that drive and feed them these types of things, your mind goes in that way. So it's really important to stay disciplined, to, remember that. Don't feel bad. You get those thoughts, just let them go, let them go. And that's what's important to do, because if you linger on those thoughts and you kind of explore that path a little bit more, that's when you might not be able to have control of the rest of your body. So you want to make sure that you control yourself. Anyway, I got to be honest about it, but like I said, every day that I let those feelings pass, I feel even more um, motivated, and I feel even more um, proud of myself. I think that's important to feel that about yourself. Now, one thing that really helped me too was, man, I can't really think of that channel anymore, but it's a great channel. This guy's been retaining for years, and he when he speaks, he sounds like he's like a Norwegian dude, or like definitely something of the uh, area there, right? Finland, Norway, Scandinavian. That's what I'm looking for. Scandinavian of some sort. Speaks with a slight accent, but his words are very powerful, and he shares a lot of experiences from his path as a retainer and on this discipline path. And what he did, he released a video. You know how they do those tier videos, like S tier, A tier, B tier, like what kind of person do you want to be and what kind of practices that you have. And so the S tier of this whole retention model is that you're living a chaste life, is what he says. Chaste life being that you can have in, intimacy with your wife, right? But of course, the idea is to not spill your seed. But if this is the way that you are and you have a chaste life, you have much more control of your urges, and you're much more in control of your destiny. And I believe that, and so that's why that's what I aspire to, just to live that chaste life at this moment. And even more so important because in the jiu-jitsu community right now, in the last couple of weeks, I don't know if you've seen, there's been an explosion of social media uproar, almost like well, it's like a scandal that's coming through. One of the most prominent coaches in the jiu-jitsu world is being arrested and tried as a pedophile. Isn't that crazy? We already know that sexual misconduct is rampant in the Brazilian jiu-jitsu world, but pedophilia, like not as prevalent, at least that we've seen come out on social media. And it's very upsetting. I think the whole world is kind of upset about it. They ought to be. But again, how do we get to this? How do we get to where we are? And that's just not being in control of our body, not being in control of our mind, not being disciplined. And it makes me sad. And that's where I think that this practice even has much more importance to the world, because if we can do this, have control of our thoughts, have control of our bodies, which is the only thing that we really have control over. It. Not even control your thoughts, right? Because at the end of the day, it's like your brain is a magnet for this energy in the world, and these thoughts and ideas come to you. But the important thing is that we don't act upon them, or we do act upon it in a way that is making the world a better place. And taking advantage of minors is disgusting. Um, it's very. I'm almost like, how do people get this way? And I mean, I know because I used to be not. I was not attracted to minors, but definitely my mind was full of sexual thoughts all the time, and that's because I wasn't able to. I didn't understand the power of it, and now I really try to channel that into things that do good in my life. And so again, I would not. I credit a lot to this practice, and I think it's really important that we all practice together and we all support each other. So again, leave in the comment how long you've been, what's the date you've been retaining since, how many days it's been, and inspire others to make sure that we continue to do this. I can tell you this, outside of feeling a little bit, my voice has been raspy. I'm kind of like fighting something. I know I've been fighting something. It's weird, but I don't feel tired. I don't feel fatigue. I don't feel a fever or anything. And I can credit this to the practice that my body is strong enough to fight and recover. Um, but outside of that, I feel very invigorated, very energized, as I've been sharing with you in the past. I get so many different ideas now to do things, and so many opportunities that I get to channel that energy towards. As I said, I'm traveling to a conference, speaking at a martial arts conference this week. I'm supposed to giving a uh, instructional seminar as well. So I'm doing like double duty at the seminar over the next couple of days, meeting with a bunch of other martial arts school owners. This business venture that I'm working with this martial arts equipment company. I don't want to cash my checks or count my checks before they're cashed. Is that how the saying goes? I don't want to get ahead of myself, right? Put the cart before the horse. But I think that there's going to be a great opportunity that's going to come out of this. And again, I would not have these opportunities if it wasn't for really being able to focus my energy into the endeavors and improving my life. I have this one thing. I keep everything in notes now. I write things down too. But sometimes ideas come to me and I put it in my notes, and I've been seeing it for the last 5 years. I have a vision for myself for 2030. What does my life look like at 2030? And money isn't everything. As you know, I live in a world with a tinfoil hat. Like I believe that money controls us in a way that it's not healthy. It's to extract productivity from us, but it is the world that we live in. It is the game that we have to play right now. And I want to win the game so that I can extricate myself from the game and also help others at the same time, right? But you can only help others so much. You have to help yourself as well. That's the idea. But to give opportunity for others to exit the game, and I see it all the time. It's $1 million in salary, but $1 million. I'm making $1 million in income and net worth of $10 million. And that's how I would see the financial part of my life. That's not the most important part. I have that there. It's just kind of like what I'm shooting for, but spending more time with my family, spending more time with people that I love with. That's on the top of my list of everything I want to do. Spending more time with my daughter, watching her grow up. She's only young one time, 6 years old now, only this one time. So I want to spend time, make sure they spend the best time with her at this time. So, I see it all the time, and putting my energy into that, I could not do it without, this practice. I see something here. The opposite, semen tension is your worst enemy. I believe that, yeah, wholeheartedly. This is Raja. This is my trusty sidekick, this cat. um, yeah, it's very easy to live that. And I was talking earlier about these explicit materials that I was seeing, and one of the things that you see is like a a man who doesn't have any relations with his wife, no sexual relations even, and that's because he's just wasting his power. The pixels on a screen. He has this terrible addiction to corn, right? And I'm like watching his addiction. I'm like, man, this is way too much information. But I definitely know because I was there at one point. um, and that's a terrible place to be in. It's like you feel anxious, you feel shame, you feel all these different things. You feel tired, but the culture around us tells us that's a healthy thing. Like you got to do that, or else you're not going to be able to control yourself. You're going to be committing adultery. You're going to be doing weird sex acts. But really, it's this activity, this sex act itself onto yourself that is creating all these weird things and bad things to happen to you. That's my belief. That's my experience through it because of where I've been and where I've arrived at now. Um, it is a terrible addiction. Somebody wouldn't see now. It's more information coming out there as an addiction, and also going back to what I saw this guy's addiction, even though it was a dramatization of it. It did. I think what I believed I heard. It's this series called Beef too. It's the second season. My wife pulled it up. She's like, let's watch it a little bit, before at nighttime. And I heard, I think, some Andrew Huberman lines in the background because he's saying like, no more of this, no more. I don't want any more of this. And he goes out for a run, which gives me a lot of hope because that's a subliminal message. That's how they who control the world send the messages out, right? Like they basically they call it programming for a reason to get you to understand like this is something you need to do. But maybe we're getting programmed in a better way. I would like to say deprogram, but it's just another programming. It's trying to tell you like maybe that's not the way you should live your life. And I'm like, well, there's some promise there. I hope this character goes through with it. And he went out there and run, right? So he channeled his energy and his time, his frustration, and his into something else. And I think we can learn a lot from that, if we choose to. Some in the comment here, it's been advertised and influenced. That's why it is a click away. Oh yeah, yeah. As I always say, it's free, but not really free. You pay with your soul, and that's it's a terrible price. But people, the idea is this: is not to feel like despair, to shame that you can't get out of this hole. And some people don't even know they're in a hole, right? Because the world tells us that this is a healthy thing that we should do. But really, after I crawled out, I was like, wow, I never want to jump back in. Even though it's tempting down there. I don't know what's down there, but whatever it is, it's very comfortable and it's like pleasure. And so things are always pulling you to go back to where you were. And I would say that this is not what we were meant here to do, to be. Okay. And it can only be a terrible path. And I see it more and more all the time. And I'm seeing it now in the jiu-jitsu community. We're not able to control ourselves. We're not able to have self-discipline. This is where it all starts. But I would say this, for those of you that are willing to undergo this journey and to walk this path, let me get a quick sip of water. And not to keep the culture of this one-upsmanship, right? It's not to be better than your brother, to be better than yourself yesterday. That's like the idea. But you are a rare person. You're doing something that most of society will not do. And that's just because where we are right now. We're like hedonistic. If you're living in the United States in the Western world, like we're at the height of power, one would say we are on the decline, and on the decline, we're just into debauchery. And this is what they're using to keep us all placated and distracted. And so therefore, and weak, because that's what this will make you. It will make you weak. If you want to be strong, then we have to undertake this discipline. And if we stick together and we help each other and pull each other up instead of push each other down, we're going to be unstoppable, and we will be the ones ruling the world soon. Okay, so I'm proud of every single one of us who undergo this, and let's continue to go force together. Okay, so that's the only message I have today. It's like seeing terrible things in my jiu-jitsu community. I'm seeing things on TV that we shouldn't see. I'm feeling pulled in different directions, and that's okay. We can pull ourselves in a different direction. So. As you know, I am on the quest to become the first Triple Crown champion as a world champion in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, and Kudo. And I'm documenting my journey so we can chase greatness together. And my next journey, my next fight is going to be on my birthday, June 12th. Actually, the weigh-in's June 12th. The fight's on June 13th. I'll be fighting Kudo in the over 45 division. Now we got a third person in the division. This is exciting. I may have at least 2 fights that day. Super excited. If you are not familiar with Kudo, it is Japanese MMA, headbutts, elbows, knees, punches, kicks, grappling, submissions, ground and pound. It's great. It's like what Jiu-Jitsu used to be, at least the idea of it. I love it. And I've created a free resource. If you want to get into Kudo, I'm going to put it in the description below. I'm really sorry. I haven't been updating these videos with different thumbnails and descriptions and area. And I'm going to take care of all that. I promise. It's been so busy. I've had so many different opportunities. I'm opening a second school right now, speaking at all these events. I have partnership deals that I'm working, and I'm committed to doing this. So unfortunately, it's not the best work that I'm able to put forth, but sometimes good is good enough. And right now it's good enough to just communicate with you, connect with you, and share this experience with you. Okay. So I'll be continuing to share my experience with you and working towards my next Kudo fight, which is about 4 weeks away. Let's go. Thank you for joining me on this, and I'm going to catch you in the next one.